What's going on, Phantom Force and Cosmogs fans alike? This is Phantom Base coming at you with our Week 6 APA Season 3 team prep for the Durham Druddigons, coached by 6-foot Hacks, aka Leo. And boy, oh boy, do we have a matchup. We're coming off a nice win streak so far. We just won against Crimson Seabad and the Destroyed Steel Wings in a quite, I want to say it was hacksy, but like it was one thing that just really caused a landslide, and I felt really bad, but it was, in the end, it's the game we play, it's how things go. And he told me later after the match he actually changed his goal bat to Infiltrator at the last second, which is kind of funny. So I guess that's what caused him to flinch. But anyway, so spoilers for that. If you didn't see that, please go check it out. Anyway, my opponent's team is very, very threatening, especially just because it's got so much odd speed tiers, and on top of that, just really good typings overall. Like, you can check it out right about now. As you see, we have finally added our team up here. So his team is obviously Jirachi, Hydreigon, Tangrowth, Primarina, Donphan, Mega Beedrill, a huge threat, Rotom, Heat, Swellow, Mienshao, Diggersby, and Tauros. Not a single bad model in its entire roster, let me go ahead and tell you now. We of course are rocking Thundurus, Incarnate, Tapu Fini, Mamoswine, Bronzong, Umbreon, Scolipede, Flygon, Mega Heracross, Go-Go, Aerodactyl, and Zangoose. Now, right away, let's go ahead and take a look at team matchup. Obviously, threats to my team. Specs Primarina, horrifying mon to deal with. I have no switch-ins to that thing at all, period. Like, my best switch-in is Bronzong, okay? Give you an idea. My best switch-in to Specs Primarina is Bronzong, and he's got so many other things that handle, like, Hydreigon, like freaking Rotom Heat, freaking Diggersby. Like, his team is so threatening. His biggest threat to my team, though, without a doubt, is Diggersby. Diggersby is such an impossible mon to switch into. Like, Bronzong doesn't take a knockoff, Mamoswine doesn't take a return, Thundurus doesn't take a return, Tapu Fini doesn't take a return. Well, anyway, Umbreon could, but he gets things like Superpower. Scolipede doesn't take an Earthquake. Flygon doesn't take a return. Mega Heracross barely takes a return. Go-Go maybe it would take something, but it gets freaking Fire Punch, so it doesn't matter. Aerodactyl doesn't want to take. Actually, Aerodactyl could be decent, but I think it gets Rock Slide, so it doesn't matter. Zangoose isn't going to take a dang Quick Attack. Diggersby's a problem. Okay, I have to kind of play around with it and kind of offensively pressure it in a way. So, other threats to my team, Specs Swellow could be a problem. Mega Beedrill's not a huge problem. I have a few decent good checks to switch into that thing. Also got ways to pressure it overall. I've got Jirachi isn't too big of an issue because I've got a couple good switch-ins to it that can really just overall handle it pretty well. I may actually change one thing on my Umbreon now that I think about it. That might actually be a good idea to do that. Okay, we're gonna do that actually. I like that a lot better because of potential that we have for it. Anyway, so Jirachi is an annoying problem because it can be scarfed and just spam Iron Head all day long, and it can be really, really frustrating to deal with if I don't handle it accordingly. Hydreigon, big problem. Luckily I have a couple switch-ins. So it's not going to be a huge threat, but Scarfing Mienshao could also be a problem. I don't have a ghost type, so he has the ability to just normal and fighting spam all day long against my team, and that could present a huge problem. So I have to really know my team well enough to be able to bring it and bring the best that I got. So with that, we're going to hop right into this team prep. Now, looking at his team, I noticed a few commonalities with his weaknesses. One, his hazard removal is Hydreigon, Donphan, Mega Beedrill, Rotom Heat, Swellow. 5 of the 6, 4 of the 5 of those are Defog, not Rapid Spin. His hazard setters consist of Jirachi, Donphan, Mega Beedrill, and Diggersby. Diggersby gets Rocks and Spikes. His initiative consists of Jirachi, Hydreigon, Mega Beedrill, Rotom Heat, Swellow, Mienshao, and Diggersby. He's got a lot of initiative. The thing is, with all this initiative and all this power, he doesn't have a crazy amount of bulk, like Tangrowth, Donphan, Rotom Heat. That's his That's the consistency of his bulk. Everything else is straight power. Jirachi could be bulky, but it's not bulky enough in my mind to warrant it being a wall, per se. Tangrowth is a great wall. Donphan is a great wall. Rotom Heat is a pretty good wall. Primarina could be a good wall if it's an Assault Vest set, but because of that, it opens itself up to really, really powerful physical attacks. And so, with this, we're going to go right into this team prep here. And the first thing I thought was, okay, the first thing I noticed about his team is that even if he has hazard removal out the window, he is weak to rocks as all crap. He's got his only switch-ins to rocks that are resistant: Jirachi, Donphan, as well, or Mienshao, Diggersby. Even then, the chip on them is going to be crucial. So clearly, I only have 2 rock setters on my team, I think. So I decided to go with the better of them for now. I wanted Mammothswine, and I wanted the thick fat set to be able to potentially take a hit from Rotom Heat. I knew the moveset I wanted right off the bat. I wanted Icicle Crash, EQ, Ice Shard, and I wanted Stealth Rock. Now here's where creeping comes into play. Oddly enough, there's only 2 ways I've seen Leo run speed, and once again, it's kind of like Crimson in this effect. Is that he creeps max speed most of the time. Either that or he kind of adds in enough speed to not be crept himself. So, here's my thoughts. If I run max attack adamant with 228 in speed, because there's no reason for him to run Jolly Diggersby this matchup, okay? And I run a Life Orb, because Adamant Diggersby is his only way to potentially one-shot Mega Heracross. And even then he can't do that unless he's got, like, I don't even know if it gets Aerial Ace or not. But this particular set is what I needed. I'm creeping Diggersby, creeping my Heracross. Adamant Diggersby, creeping Adamant Heracross. That's what I'm creeping with Mammothswine. And the way I see this is like this. If I can get some chip damage on Diggersby, we can actually revenge it with Ice Shard. Like, we can prevent it from attempting to revenge us with the Quick Attack. That's why we're running Ice Shard. It's one of the main reasons. The other reason is for freaking Beedrill. If we can get that switch into rocks one time, it drops to an Ice Shard. Guaranteed. EQ kills so many things on his team. Rocks is for the potential Rotom Heat switch in, and I've got other ways to handle Rotom Heat. I'm not worried about Rotom Heat at all. So, anyway, this Pokemon in particular is meant to take on the likes of Jirachi if it's a more bulky set. Tangrowth. We 2-shot Tangrowth. We can actually one-shot Primarina with Icicle or Earthquake. Donphan we kill with Icicle Crash into Ice Shard. Beedrill we can kill after rocks with Ice Shard. Swellow we kill with Ice Shard, guaranteed. Mienshao we can kill with Earthquake. Diggersby we kill with Ice Shard after some prior damage. Tauros kill with Earthquake. The only thing is we can't kill at Rotom Heat, and well, we can kill Hydreigon with Icicle Crash, obviously. Like, the only things we don't kill are Rotom Heat, and that's why we have some other mons on my team. So, this team is going to be kind of offensive this week, because I have to have it that way. His team is offensive. Like, really offensive. Like I said, his main bulk consists of Tangrowth, Donphan, and Rotom Heat. That's literally it. And just Primarina if you want to go special, but no Spadef. But, like, I don't see him going Spadef Primarina. I see him going offensive here, because my team needs some offensive power to break through it. I've got a really good defensive core. So, next up on my team, like this Pokemon is just a great breaker. That's what I wanted it for. I wanted breaker and I wanted rocks. Its main goal is to get rocks up and then just pressure things so he can't defog freely unless he gets in Rotom Heat. And if he gets in Rotom Heat, we actually have a way to handle that if he does go for defog. Now, for this particular setup, I decided that my next Pokemon is going to add, we're reviving Scolipede yet again, because it is so well this past week, and it matches up really well against him again, or it matches up really well against Leo, that we can actually bring literally almost the same set, like same moves, just different investment. Bring SD, EQ, Rock Slide, and Poison Jab. And the reason for this is because +2 Poison Jab kills Hydreigon, +2 Earthquake kills Jirachi unless it's Shoka Berry, which I can kind of scout for. What else do I have here? Let me check. What else do we do? We can one-shot Primarina with Poison Jab. We can one-shot Tangrowth with +2 poison jab. We one-shot Beedrill with Rock Slide. We one-shot Rotom Heat with +2 with Rock Slide. We one-shot Swellow +2 with Rock Slide. With Rock Slide. We one-shot Mienshao with +2 poison jab. We one-shot Diggersby. Or it's a roll to one-shot Diggersby with +2 Earthquake, and we can potentially one-shot Tauros with a +2 poison jab. Depends on his investment. Depends on whether he's Intimidate, all that jazz. I could potentially see him bringing Intimidate Tauros, but last week we saw me bring Defiant Thundurus. Granted, we didn't see that it was Defiant, so that's the thing. But anywho, so it may be very well possible he could be expecting that. Now, this thing in particular, its investment is quite particular. I'm actually going to check it right now to see what I'm creeping. Okay, yeah. Now, here's my thing. Okay, we're creeping. We're adding enough attack, and I know normally we would creep his creeping, right? Because that's the best way to go about it. But I think he's going to run a max speed Jirachi this week. Because if he doesn't run max speed Jirachi, he can't potentially speed type my Flygon and spam Ice Punch. And DD Flygon could potentially be an issue for his team, although Primarina is kind of an issue. But I can be like DD Z move, and that could be a real problem for him. So I wanted to make sure that I could capitalize on it, and like Flygon was in the back of my mind. I'll explain to you why I didn't bring it here. But this particular spread allows us to speed creep Jirachi. That's max speed. We're doing that because I expect him to be max speed. We can get up an SD potentially as he switches it in, and we can just spam Earthquake from there, because if he goes for an offensive attack, I think this bulk allows us to live a physical Jirachi hit. If he's special, we're gonna have a little problem, but at the same time, I've got way better ways to check special Jirachi than he does to handle it with physical. Like, physical Jirachi is much more of a threat. The special Jirachi is more of a meh set against me. So with this, like I said, this thing could be a potential late game cleaner or just a breaker in general. Like, I have 2 breakers here. I have a lot of physical offense this week because his team is really physically weak. Like his physically defensive mons are Tangrowth and physically defensive mons are Tangrowth and Donphan. Both of them drop to Mamoswine. Primarina is a good Spadef wall, but it drops to Scolipede. So right here we've got a good, and then once we get to +2, we can actually kill Rotom Heat with a Rock Slide, unless he's like Charty Berry, or I think Max Fizz Def actually lives. And he blows us away with Overheat, but that's okay, because if that happens, we've gotten him low enough to where we could revenge him with a couple of other mons. And I'll show you those here in a second. Now, our last mon we decided to bring is actually, for once, a special attacker, and it could be a really good late game win condition. Like I said, this Scolipede set just runs through his team outside of what Mamoswine can do. Because what Mamoswine can't touch in Rotom Heat, Scolipede can. Now, granted, this leaves us open to a pretty decent weakness to Rotom Heat, which we will patch up here a little bit. So with this, we decided to bring our win condition for this week, and I was sitting here thinking, okay, I need a better way to handle Primarina, because right now, Primarina with Psychic, Scarf Primarina with Psychic can catch my Scolipede off guard pretty easily. I'm not running Protect on it because I need the swords, I need the 3 attacks, and I need Sword Stance. So, this particular week, I'm bringing Thundurus with, for the longest time, I was going to run a Scarf Thundurus, and the reason for that was I was going to run it to outspeed potential Scarfed Tauros. That was creeping my, Thundurus, creeping his Mienshao, creeping my Flygon. I know that sounds cheeky, like I would have had to run 169 speed, he would have been running 170, so I was going to run Scarfed at 171. Actually, I was going to run Scarfed to outspeed Mienshao. So really, actually, yeah, I was just running Scarfed to creep Mienshao. So, that way I can potentially catch him if he's trying to creep me. Creeping is creep. Yeah, anyway, I know that sounds funny, but anyway. But I decided against that because I don't think Tauros is going to come. If Tauros does come, we have really good ways to handle it. Like, I'll show you here in a second. Right now we're still in the offensive threats. But for the moveset I knew I wanted this thing was Thunder. Okay, that's not an item. We don't want item yet. We want Thunderbolt. Not Thunderbolt. We want a Dark Pulse. We have our Flying. and the last move was up in the air because at first I wanted to U-turn because of Scarf, but later you'll see I take this off, and we'll come back to this later. But the one thing I did know for certain was that I am running this particular amount of speed here. I'm running 220, I believe. 220 in speed. Yep. I'm running max special attack, and the rest in... No, definitely not the rest in HP. Oh, that's right. Okay, I'm running 248 in this because of hidden power fire. Or hidden power flying, because it doesn't make any difference. And 40 in HP because it actually gives us that odd number. And I know it's because all the numbers are 30s, so it actually changes things a little bit. But with this spread we do creep, Tauros creeping, me creeping hit. We speed tie with Tauros, don't. I think we actually just speed creep outright. We speed creep Tauros, essentially trying to speed tie with me and Xiao. Like, I don't understand. Especially we're over speed creeping me and Xiao. I may want to change this though, because yeah, I might change this. I don't know. Yeah, I'm gonna have to change this. But anyway, so here's what I want to do. I'm gonna take the slightest bit out of special attack, and we're gonna put the rest in the speed. Okay, we can't. That's why. Okay. That's alright. We're gonna actually take the rest out of... We can't do max there, so we can do... It doesn't really matter, we're just gonna put the rest in speed. It really doesn't matter, because at the end we're speed creeping me and Xiao, and we're also speed creeping a Tauros. That speed creeping is on me and Xiao for some reason. That way he can, I don't know. It could come in clutch, we could potentially speed tie, which would be terrible actually, but I don't think it's going to happen, because if you could bring Tauros, you could bring a Scarfed. So that's not going to come into play here. Now, with this particular spread, like I said, where you're speed creeping me and Xiao, and we have an odd number of HP, which is really nice, because Tangrowth is a problem. However, I looked into some things, and we'll find out later that I came back, this is the last set I finalized. So next up, I thought, okay, enough with the offense, I need a more bulky set. I need an answer to freaking, I need an answer to Hydreigon, I need an answer to Special Jirachi, I need, what else do I need? I need an answer to Tangrowth in general, I need an answer to freaking Rotom Heat, and I need an answer to Swallow. So those are kind of all things I was factoring in, and I just had to go with Umbreon, because one, Swallow doesn't get Focus Blast, which is really freaking nice. Okay, we're gonna call you Fat. I didn't call you Kaiba, did I? No, I did not. You are Kaiba. Anyway, so, and I knew this set. I thought I knew this set right off the bat, but Foul Play, Wish, Protect. Originally, I had Baton Pass on here. Now, clearly, I'm gonna have leftovers because it was what works best with Umbreon. But I did know the spread right off the bat. We're running 244 in HP. We're running 252 there and 12 in speed. 12 is in speed super and speed creeps. We're going Calm, so that we can maximize our speed def, because this actually allows us to avoid being 2-hit killed by a Specs Boom Burst from Swallow. Also allows us to avoid being 2-hit KO by Specs Draco Meteor from Timid Hydreigon, because after the special attack drop, and we can easily pivot around that thing. Like, the thing is, I'm more expecting a Poison EMZ Belch Hydreigon, because that actually one-shots my Tapu Fini. Funny enough, crazy as that sounds. Now, like I said, this spread is very particular. Like, but yeah, so originally, like I said, we had Baton Pass on here because it could really come in clutch, like getting in, like if he comes in with Diggersby and we can Baton Pass out into something that can handle Diggersby, that could have been really clutch. But in the end, I didn't want to have to Baton Pass Tauros, Intimidate, or like a few other things, like if he Leech Seeded me with Tangrowth outspeeding me for some reason, and I got a Baton Pass off and passed the Seeds into something that would have been really bad. So we decided to forego that. We decided we could go for something else a little later. But next up, the next thing I wanted was Tapu Fini, and the reason for this is because I needed another switch into Hydreigon. I needed to switch into Physical Jirachi. I needed to switch into freaking Donphan. That didn't have Gunk Shot, of course. I needed to switch into Mienshao, and a decent switch into Diggersby. Now, of course, we're not going to perfectly switch into Diggersby, but we are running Surf, Nature's Madness, not Nature Power, that'd be crazy. Nature's Madness, Moonblast, and Knockoff. Hilariously enough. What's even greater is we're actually running your standard 252 spread this week, and I know you're thinking why. It's like, because this actually, I had to calc this, and this is the best I could come up with. This just allows us to actually live 2 Life Orb Jolly Returns from Diggersby. From Huge Power Diggersby. This is ridiculous. Now, originally I had leftovers on this thing, but after running a mock, I decided I was going to run Kibi Berry, because 2 things. It makes me a better check to Mienshao, because Banded Mienshao with Poison Jab would be a problem for my team. The other thing is Z-Belch Hydreigon, because with the Kibi Berry, we take max like 53%, and we kill back from Moonblast every time. There's no reason why we shouldn't. So that's the whole point of this. Now, the last Pokemon I had to come up with was kind of tough, because I was on a toss-up between getting a Bronzong for more bulk, or I wanted to go, but in the end I decided to go a little bit more offensive with this team, because I really needed ways to handle things like defensive Rotom Heat, things like Donphan, things like Primarina if it's not Scarfed, things like Tangrowth, and honestly like Diggersby as an instant failsafe. So of course we're bringing Heracross. This thing, Kirito, is once again coming back, and he's going to put in some of the monstrous work. I think we made his ability Moxie again, because it doesn't make a difference. Our set is going to be Pin Missile, Bullet Seed, not Bulldoze, Bullet Seed, Rock Blast, and the last move was up in the air for a couple seconds. I've considered running Knockoff for Jirachi, but I doubt he's going to run anything other than either Shuka or Colbert Berry, and I lean more towards Shuka Berry, because that's more of a way to handle Mamoswine, a way to handle Scolipede. He could run Colbert Berry for things like Thundurus and Umbreon, but if he runs Colbert Berry, he's going to lose to Mamoswine or to Scolipede, especially Scolipede. So the other option is Scarf, and if you run Scarf and we knock it off the top of Fini, it's going to be a good time. Now, so instead I decided to go with Feint, because in the end, Feint out-prioritizes Quick Attack on Diggersby. We could potentially pick that thing off if it's low enough. And we're running this particular strat. We're running Max Attack, 28 in HP, the rest in Speed, and I think this allows us to creep Primarina. Yes, this allows us to creep a max speed Primarina, so we will know if this thing is Scarfed because of whether or not it decides to just go straight for Moonblast. If it goes straight for Moonblast, we do have a couple switch-ins in Scolipede or in Tapu Fini. The crazy thing is that if we switch into Tapu Fini, we can knock it off. If we can get rid of that thing's Scarf, that would be so lovely, because that would mean we could actually kill it with Heracross the next turn. That's the thing that I want. I want to knock off as many items as possible with Tapu Fini, catch them off guard. That would be the best thing. So, the whole point of this team is to break with things like Mamoswine, and Heracross, or not Heracross, Scolipede here. I realized he's got a fire type and Rotom Heat. That's actually a problem. My switch into Umbreon's actually pretty decent though, and if I can catch him on a Volt Switch, we can go into Mamoswine, we can go into, honestly, anything not Overheat, Heracross takes pretty well. And even then, if he's a defensive set, we actually outspeed, and we can kill with Rock Blast every time. Doesn't matter. Tapu Fini can really whittle that thing down as well on a switch in with like Nature's Madness or Surf. Umbreon really doesn't care. Now, this is the last set we decided to change to. Actually, we changed this set first. We decided that we were going to run Toxic on this thing because we looked at his team and he has no Cleric at all. No Wish. He has Wish Support in Jirachi. He's got Healing Wish in Jirachi. That's it. He doesn't have any like Heal Beller. So we can Toxic things for days and cause a lot of problems. And I actually decided just now during this team prep video, we're going to change this thing to Inner Focus. Because, wait, can it have Wish and Inner Focus? I think it can have Wish and Inner Focus. Yeah. See, because we can't be flinched down by Jirachi, all we gotta do is spam foul play. So that could be really good. I'm actually gonna change that in my genning before we have this battle. And the last thing I decided to change was that we wanted to run Nasty Plot Thunderous with Dark NEMZ, because at +2 with this spread we one-shot a physically defensive Rotom Heat with a +2 Black Hole Eclipse. So that's the reason behind that. And on top of that, we can kill Jirachi. We can HP Flying, 2-hit kills. Actually, I think HP Flying is rolled a kill at +2. Diggersby kills Tangrowth in a shot if it's not Assault Vest. Dark Pulse does a huge chunk to a lot of things. HP Flying neutral HP Flying one shots me and Chow, one shots the freaking Beedrill. And surprisingly, Beedrill can't do a whole lot to me. Like, we resist its Bug Stab and its Poison Stab we resist in Scolipede, surprisingly. The best thing it can run is Aerial Ace for Scolipede, and all I gotta do is get up to +1 speed. We outspeed it. Unless he's running Agility, but he's gonna drop to a freaking Rock Slide anyway. So anyway, that is the team, and we've also got we got a decent bit of priority to be able to pick off his faster mons too. So, I don't know if I mentioned this as well, as far as Heracross is concerned, but Bullet Seed one-shots Primarina, one-shots Donphan. It also one-shots Diggersby. We can Pin Missile one-shots Tauros, Bullet Seed one-shots Mienshao, Rock Blast obviously one-shots Swallow, and Rotom Heap, and Beedrill, clearly. Actually, Pin Missile one-shots Beedrill, funny enough. Pin Missile one-shots Tangrowth and Hydreigon, and Pin Missile actually is a roll to one-shot Jirachi. And if we can catch him on the switch in and then click, and you get him low enough, we can click Feint and kill him before he kills us. So, good stuff. So anyway, that is the team. I'm gonna go change this freaking Umbreon to be Inner Focus, because that can be clutch. Now, I want to thank you guys so much for watching. Please go check out Leo's prep if he does have a prep video, and we will have this battle shortly. Thank you guys so much. Bye, guys.